In video 32, we discussed the inner critic and how Enki and his scientists added the inner critic as a slave master into our minds. In this video, we would like to elaborate some more on that subject. The general idea, much based on Zecharia Sitchin's books, is that the gods, Anunnaki, AIF, tampered with our DNA by taking away, deactivate, about 95 to 96% of our DNA. Thus, only 4 to 5% of our DNA is activated in an average human. This is not entirely incorrect, but it's misleading, according to my own research and the new insights Ariel and I had, furthermore based on the content of the West Penry papers and some other sources. Interestingly enough, the 4 to 5% we have activated incidentally correspond with the 4 to 5% universe that we can perceive with our 5 senses. The other 95 to 96% of the universe is what science calls dark energy and dark matter versus junk DNA when it comes to genetics. Coincidence? In reality, the gods didn't necessarily take anything away or re-engineered us. They didn't need to, but they did manipulate our DNA. What they did was that they added something to us. They inserted themselves into us on a nano level by using some of their own fire soul energy. They did it via our bloodlines, and we carry on this additive through our ancestry. We are born as whole souls, but as soon as we enter a human body, we also inherit our ancestral genes, and the God fire that they added into our DNA now becomes activated already in infancy. This insertion is almost certainly the inner critic. Thus, the sequence is: sometime after the invasion of the solar system, the AIF inserted themselves into our bloodlines. They found out that the reptilian brain mind, the subconscious mind one could say, acts as a fight or flight mechanism, alerting us of danger, so we can act and react quickly. But the overlords figured out that they can use this against us to keep us trapped and under their control. Thus, they inserted themselves into us in order to traumatize us. They realized that trauma created fragmentation of the soul-mind-body complex. The fires we are made up of were split and fragmented, which made us easier to control. They took us out of present time, where we could be easily manipulated. But there was still a chance that humans could see through this, so after body death, they peeled off our traumatized fragments and created new beings from these fragments to create a new soul, which didn't have a core being, and in that sense it was artificial. There was no core soul in control. Then they sent these souls down here, and narcissism was created. These narcissists, who are in constant survival mood, have to feed off us, who do have a soul, so they traumatize us even more in order to get life supply. On top of that, the inserted inner critic triggers the dormant wounds inside us, instigated by trauma, and we start confusing this inner voice, thoughts, for our own, and we start acting out from our triggered wounds. It appears to be set up this way so that if one thing fails, there is a backup: narcissists, inner critic. Together, the two keep us locked into this limited frequency band. Thus, it might seem like our DNA is deactivated by, like most researchers on these subjects believe these days, having been genetically re-engineered, when in fact, what is discussed above locked us in here. Therefore, the way to unlock ourselves is to gain knowledge and start handling the inner critic, and to reintegrate the traumatized fragments, usually originating from our childhood. The way Ariel and I started looking at this lately is that silencing the inner critic goes a long way in reincarnating our wounds. Once we start doing this on a continuous basis, we will find ourselves living more and more in present time because we no longer have our wounds triggered all the time, whether we are aware of it or not. The wounds are still there, but by waking up to living our lives more in the present, the past, in form of trauma fragments, will reintegrate more automatically. This is based on pure logic. If there is no inner critic allowed to keep us stuck in the past, the soul will automatically reintegrate, just like it did when we were Namlu'us before the invasion. There was nothing there to keep us stuck in our wounds. The subconscious mind was only there in this sense to alert us to danger. We did not get caught up in it. It was an instant thing, and when the danger was over, the Namlu came back into present time again. The inner critic is what keeps us stuck in the past. We are children of nature. Our souls were made for this experiment that started out on Tiamat and on Mars. Perhaps Venus was a part of the experiment too. The reptilian brain mind is not Enki's creation, it's the Queen's creation. It is a fight or flight mechanism that would help the Namlu'u to survive immediate danger. Instead of putting their hands into the fire, get burned, and wait until the hand was really damaged before they pull it out, the reptilian brain learned to react instantly in order to cause as little damage as possible on the human. Then, when the danger was over, our ancestors went back to their normal life again. In nature, this was an appropriate response to a real danger. However, when the AIF took over, they noticed this phenomenon in humans, and they figured out how they could use this mechanism to extensively traumatize and fragment the human being to the point where there was no return back to present time again. By inserting themselves in form of the inner critic, the gods could control the human mind, similar to how the CIA in MKUltra insert personalities into each fragment to create a number of different artificial individuals within the victim's fragmented mind. Thus, in other words, the AIF used our survival mechanism to control us and traumatize us to the extreme. If they didn't use narcissists to traumatize us and the inner critic to keep us stuck in one wound or another, we would come back to present time and go on with our business. Another aspect of this, where many people have a misunderstanding, is the aspect that the soul needs to evolve. Evolve to what? We are already evolved. We are no more or no less than any other soul in the universe. We are just held back by the manipulative forces that keep us under constant attack. Once we exit the matrix and return to the real universe, we are just as evolved as anyone else. In other words, we are all individual souls on a journey to learn more, to create and to explore, just like any other soul in the universe. There is nothing to evolve to. All we need to do is to leave this manipulative environment by exiting the matrix, where we are kept in the dark in moments of trauma, without getting the chance to find out who we really are. Each soul is as evolved as his/her individual experiences and knowledge. It goes for all souls in the car. Everybody is on their own path. Then we go from where we are due to these experiences and the knowledge we have gained, and we continue finding out what else there is to learn about ourselves and the environment we choose to explore and create. And thus we contribute to the Divine Feminine's mission to learn more about herself through us.